This is Winning Cures Everything.
So this is
Now
our
for
SEC
your hosts,
East
Gary
preview.
and Chris.
And we decided to do by divisions, at least on this. We may do the other conferences, the entire conference at one time because there's not a whole lot to talk about with some of them. But we're going to jump into the SEC East, and we'll start out. We're just going to do it alphabetical order. Is that all right?
Fine.
Okay. Let's start with Florida. First things first, Florida has got the easiest schedule, according to Phil Steele, of anybody in the conference. It's the number 64 toughest schedule. But that's because their road games at Florida State, at Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, at Mississippi State, right? So Tennessee, people don't expect a whole lot. Vandy, of course not. At Mississippi State, I think it's going to be tough. And then at Florida State, we still don't know what's up with Willie Taggart and what they're going to be.
First-year
right?
coach.
And so, they weren't good last year under Jimbo after losing the quarterback. They get the quarterback back, whatever. So let's go ahead and jump in. They went 4-7 last year. What do you think they've got this year?
What's the over-under?
The over-under, as of my bookie, is 8.5 wins.
I think they go under that. I got them at 8-4.
All right, now I have them at 9-3. What
you think Dan Mullins is 5 games better than what they were last year?
I do. The other side of this is that they are the most experienced team in the SEC because remember, they're getting all those guys that got suspended back.
Yeah, but undisciplined players, I'm never going to put a lot of faith in.
They get Jordan Scarlett back.
Okay, how many stars they've got on?
They've got 112 offensive line starts between the 5 guys. They return all 5 offensive linemen. They have a stable of running backs. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think it's hard not to get to 8 or 9 wins with this schedule.
You might be right, but
I've got them at 9-3, and
we're not far off.
I
got 8-4.
Here's my 3 losses.
Okay,
I've got at Mississippi State, Georgia, and then until they beat Florida State in Tallahassee, I'm going to give Florida State that win.
Okay.
That's just my thinking on it because I got to see it to believe it.
Okay.
All right, so what are you going with on what's your 4th loss?
My 4th loss? Well, I have them losing to South Carolina and LSU.
Oh, okay, you got them losing to LSU.
Yep.
All right, so South Carolina, LSU, and you've got them beating Florida State.
Got them beating Florida State. I've got them losing to Tennessee, and I've got them losing to Georgia.
Okay. Now, the Georgia thing, I can understand that. The Tennessee game, I guess that's
at Tennessee. I think Jeremy Pruitt's going to show some people how bad the coaching has been for the last decade. I think a grown-up sitting in that chair, and when I use the word grown-up, I mean that literally. An adult male sitting in that chair, I think, is going to show them Tennessee can win. You just need somebody who's not a complete idiot.
I'm okay. I'm with you.
So that's that.
I'm going to touch on him in my hot take later.
That's fine.
Georgia. Let's move on to that. Last year they went 11-1, 7-1 in the conference. They lost at Auburn last year. I have them 11-1 again.
You got them 9-3. What was their over/under?
Over/under was 10.5.
So I got them under there too.
Yep, you got them under on that. So I've got them over the, but I'm not super confident because let's just be real. Not a whole lot of returning experience here.
I just think there's also a lot of, miracles. I was the one guy that doubted Kirby the whole time last year. Didn't foresee him being that strong, that good. I also know football is an oblong shape that bounces weird and funny. And
True.
You're not. I couldn't tell you what games.
Well, they won a lot
win.
of.
And I'll tell you this: I don't have a lot of wins and losses. I just know what I think their record's going to be when it's over with. I can't tell you who they're going to beat, who they're going to lose to, any of that stuff. I just know this: I don't see them just running the table again like it's nothing because they're Georgia and they recruit really well, and Kirby's the second coming of Nick Saban. I think at some point in time the SEC is going to get better. Games are going to get harder. And you're going to lose some.
Over the last 4 years, Georgia has recruited, their average player is a 3.8. That's number 2 in the conference behind Alabama, who is a 3.92. So they are, as far as talent goes, light years ahead of everybody else on their schedule other than Auburn, and even then it's still pretty significant.
Pretty significant.
So I've got Georgia at 11-1. Now, the reason I have them 11-1, I've got them losing at South Carolina.
Yep.
And then I think they run the table from there. But it's still early, the first road game. You saw what Jake Fromm did in his only hostile road game last year at Auburn. Completely crapped the bed. The whole team did. And then you saw what they did like when they had the safe confines of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's right.
Like they completely flipped the script on them. And this go-round, Georgia, I think, just has more talent. But their schedule, there's at LSU, at Missouri, at Kentucky.
They got the cocktail party. Florida will show up for that.
Yeah, and I think Florida will show up. But I just don't know that Florida's good enough at this point. Like, I'd like Dan Mullen. I just don't think they're good enough yet.
I don't know the answer. Like I said, I just don't think that you can wake up, take a program over, and all of a sudden be 11-1 back-to-back years, 10-2 just in your sleep. This game's not that easy. It's just not.
I think. Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I've got them at 11-1. I've got them 7-1 in the SEC.
Okay. Next
up, Kentucky. Let's roll through very quickly. They went 7-5 last year. That's 2 straight years at 7-5. They beat Louisville 2 years ago, lost to them last year, at home? Is that right?
Yep.
So they play them at Louisville this year. I don't like Kentucky much this year. They've got the 6th toughest schedule in the SEC. It's number 39 in the country. They have the number 13 least experienced team. So, the only team that has less experience in the conference is LSU.
Yep.
They don't have a starting quarterback returning. They got Benny Snell coming back, the running back. But as far as offensive line starts, they've only got 60 offensive line starts, which is number 80 in the country and number 11 in the SEC. I've got them at 4-8 this year.
Okay. What's their over-under?
Their over-under is...
I'm going to ask this for all the teams.
Kentucky is 5.5.
I would go under. I've got them at 5-7.
All right, now who do you have them beating?
I mean, like I said,
I forget. Okay.
I just pick a number and I say this is what I think they could do.
Well, see, there's toss-up
Could they beat
games.
Louisville and lose to Central Michigan? Sure. I've got them beating Central Michigan and losing to Louisville. But at some point in time, I think it all is going to work out.
I think that their hardest games are at home, and then the toss-up games are on the road, so you kind of have to toss it to the next, the other team.
On. They play Florida on the road and A&M on the road.
And Tennessee and Missouri.
And you said their hardest games are at home.
Yeah, they've got,
Florida and A&M aren't hard?
No, they've got Mississippi State, South Carolina. Now, look, Vanderbilt is one thing, but they've got Georgia at home. Okay. So, Georgia, South Carolina.
Yeah, they got to play everybody in the East, and half of them they'll play at home, and half of them they won't.
Here's the thing. They've got Georgia, South Carolina, and Mississippi State at home, and I think they lose all 3 of those. I think they lose at Texas A&M and at Florida. I think they lose at Missouri because that's a toss-up game, and then at Tennessee because I think Pruitt's going to have that turned around. I got them at 4-8. Okay. So, either way, that's under 5.5. Okay. So, I'm down with that.
That's a lot of time on Kentucky.
Yeah. Well,
that nobody cares about.
Missouri, another team that not a whole lot of people care about, but that's okay.
Over-under is what?
Over-under for Missouri is 7.5.
Oh, God. Dang. Whew.
I've got them under that.
Yeah, I got them under that by a lot. I'm 3-9.
Holy God. With Drew Lock at quarterback?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I've got them at 6-6. You got them at 3-9?
I got them at 3-9. Call me when they get a head coach, because I think coaching matters in college football.
Okay, I understand.
I think coaching matters in the SEC.
You think that they won last year because of Josh Heupel?
I mean, I don't
know.
The
OC that went to Central Florida?
Yeah, I mean, that offense looked really, really good.
Because I don't know.
It was a really good offense. I had no idea what
won games for them.
Yeah. Defensively, they didn't win games, but who's their head coach?
Barry Odom, who's
he's a defensive coordinator. Yeah. So, I just don't. I don't know. I think the SEC East is getting better. I think it's light years better than it was 2 years ago. I mean, worlds, leaps and bounds better than it was 2 years ago.
And on your thing there, Missouri is number 13 in the conference as far as recruits go. Yeah. Their average player is 3.06 stars.
They just don't have talent.
So they do have the fourth.
And I don't think they have coaching.
They've got the 4th toughest schedule in the SEC, the number 27 in the country, but they do have a lot of experience coming back. but I just don't think it's a lot of talent.
Yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't matter if it's not good.
I think things broke pretty well for them last year. Move on to South Carolina.
All right.
Now, this is where you're getting excited, right?
This is where things change
This
a little.
is Coach Boom is your boy.
Yeah.
Will Muschamp,
Yeah.
year 3.
I'm a big Muschamp guy.
They went 8-4 in the regular season last year.
Correct. Lost the best player in week 3.
Week 3, yep, to in the Kentucky game. And then they lost the Kentucky game.
Yeah.
Now, they have lost 4 straight years to Kentucky. I'll go on and say, look, hot take just for this. They're swapping that this year.
They're not going to lose that game.
They're going to Lexington. South Carolina will win this ball game, hands down. Come see me if they don't, and I will apologize. But I'm not going to be wrong here.
What is their under? What is their over under?
Their over under is 7.
Yeah, they're going to blow that out of the water.
That's what I think. I got South Carolina at 10-2 this year.
Do you really?
I've got them 10-2.
I have them at 10-2 as well.
All right, now tell me who you've got them losing to.
So the 2 losses, one is to Clemson.
Of course. I don't think they're on that level yet.
And I wrote down on my paper that we filled out, like I got them losing at Ole Miss. But it's just one of those things where I think they're going to lose an SEC game. I don't know what game, but I was going to make sure it was a road game. I think they're going to lose an SEC game. I think it's going to be a road game. I think my options are they'll lose to Ole Miss, they'll lose to Florida, but they play pretty much everybody else that scares you at home. A&M's a little scary, but they get A&M at home.
Well, listen, I'm just going to read this off.
All right.
The beginning of their schedule before their bye week. They've got Coastal Carolina at home, Georgia at home, Marshall at home, at Vandy, at Kentucky, Missouri at home, A&M at home. There's no reason why they shouldn't be 7-0 right there.
Well, Georgia is a tough W.
Okay,
You're just chalking up like it ain't nothing.
There's no reason
you made Georgia 11-1, and there's no reason they shouldn't be undefeated going into that game.
There's no reason they shouldn't be at least 5-2. How's that?
All right.
So because A&M, we don't know what they're going to do.
I'm going to disagree with that as well. A&M's a good football team.
That's what I'm saying.
They could easily lose that game.
They could lose to A&M and Georgia.
Game. Yes,
but I don't see
all
them
the rest
losing.
of those games. They should not lose.
They should not lose to Missouri.
Now,
Kentucky,
I know when you
Vandy,
just chalk
Marshall,
W's
whatever.
up on paper, it don't ever work out that way.
I understand. I've got them losing at Florida.
Yeah.
I think they'll go to Ole Miss and find a way to win that one. But 2 straight road games.
I mean, Ole Miss is that team, though, right? They're the team that likes to play teams late in the season that have something to play for and just piss them off.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of routinely happens.
That seems like what they'll be. And we'll get to the SEC West preview next week. But yeah, I've got them at 10-2. I've got them 7-1 in the conference. And with the win over Georgia, like I got South Carolina winning the East.
Oh yeah, me too. No problem, no doubt.
All right, let's move to Tennessee, and then we'll close out with Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Tennessee went 4-8 last year. They have got the number 12 toughest schedule in the SEC. It's only number 54 in the country, so it works out pretty well for them. But as far as SEC experience goes, they're number 12 there. Number 87 in the country as far as experience, which might be good.
Got to bring in some fresh blood.
Yeah, you got that
Jeez.
right. The average recruit for Tennessee is actually number 7 in the conference, right? Dead middle, 3.38 stars. They've got some good players. Not a lot of offensive line starts. Not a lot of yardage coming back and whatnot, but that could be good. We don't know if Justin Garantano is going to start. I believe it's going to be Keller Christ.
I'm just fully See, I don't know. To act like we know anything about these players today while we're recording this, it is a little bit ridiculous.
Agreed.
But I know this. I trust the man that's making the decisions. I think for a team that had a dumpster fire of a coaching situation, they kind of landed on a pretty good situation.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I'll jump on Jeremy Pruitt in our hot take.
But no, let me ask you one question. There's one game. So what was their over-under?
The over-under for Tennessee is 5.5.
Oh, I'm going over on that. I've got Tennessee at 9-3. What do you got?
Holy Lord. I've got them at 6-6.
So I got them at 9-3, and the one game I gave them a W for, I'm a little wonky on, which is West Virginia.
All right, I've got them losing to West Virginia, Florida, at Georgia, at Auburn, Alabama, at South Carolina. That's a lot of, like, the road games there at South Carolina, at Auburn, at Georgia. I just don't see how they.
I've watched enough football to know they're going to win one of those games. There's a chance they could win 2 of those games.
And then Florida, Alabama,
so to just assume they're going to lose all these games where these teams are supposedly better than them is just making a really bad assumption.
It's a tough stretch right there.
It is a tough stretch.
But you got Florida at Georgia.
The idea of them coming out winless out of all that is a little ridiculous. They'll win some of these games.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from. But I've got them winning East Tennessee and UTEP, and I could see them being close games with Florida at Georgia, a bye week, at Auburn, Alabama, and at South Carolina. But then I've got them winning all 4 games to end the season to get to a bowl game.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, Kentucky, Missouri, and then at Vandy.
And that makes sense.
That makes sense. So I think I've got them going to a bowl game. 6-6, I think would be good for Pruitt this year. Like for what they've got,
I got them a lot better than that because I think they're going to win some of it. Now I don't think they'll win all of the games that I think they might, but they're going to win some of those games.
You got them beating West Virginia.
Yeah.
You got them beating Florida.
So I got them beating several. In that hard stretch, I think they're going to win 3 out of 5 of those difficult games.
Okay.
And if they only win 2 out of 5 of them, then I still go over the 6 or the 5.5 it was. So.
Yeah, 5.5. Vanderbilt, they went 5-7 last year. They got a win over Tennessee again last year. Derek Mason took a 6-6 team, went to 5-7 last year. Their over/under is 4 this year. They've got a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, but they're number 8 in the SEC. A lot of offensive line experience, which helps for what they try and do on offense. They're number 4 in the SEC as far as offensive line starts. They've got the 9th toughest schedule. Their experience, like I said, is number 8, and over/under 4 wins. I've got them under the 4 wins. I've got them at 3-9.
I got to push. I got them at 4-8.
All right, I've got them 0-8 in the SEC. Do you have them winning an SEC game?
Yeah, I've got them beating. I've got them beating Missouri, and that's it.
Yeah, as far as the SEC, you got them 1-7 in the SEC. Yeah. They'll beat Middle Tennessee. They'll beat Nevada. They'll beat Tennessee State. Their other non-conference game, it's going to be kind of fun for me to watch Vanderbilt at Notre Dame.
What will be fun about that?
Just because I don't think Notre Dame is going to be as good this year, and 2, like.
This is something
just the name, like the names on the jerseys. That's it.
This is one of the things that pisses me off about what other conferences do, though. Okay, other conferences like to come in, and some of our big boys do the same thing. Okay, we say, oh, we're going to go play a hard team from another conference. Come here, Rutgers. We just beat a Big Ten team. Come on, man.
Like that ain't a Big Ten team.
Notre Dame's going to hang their hat on. We're going to get an SEC win. And that should matter in the college football playoff ranking or the bowl ranking or all this other bull crap. And it shouldn't. It just shouldn't. There are haves and have-nots. And if you go into the Big 12 and you beat up on Kansas, you don't get to brag about it. You just don't.
I'm with you. I completely agree.
But that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to happen. Oklahoma hung a lot of L's on Tennessee back in the trash days. And all we hear about is their record against the SEC. Like, well, yeah, you got 3 of them against one of the worst programs in our conference for a decade. Congratulations.
All right, so you've got I've got Georgia going 11-1, but I got South Carolina at 10-2 winning the East.
I only went over on 2 of these, and that was Tennessee and South Carolina. I have South Carolina winning the East, and I'm going to stand by that. I think they're going to win the East.
I like it. All right, we're going to move into the ranking.